Hi, this is the final showcase of my game Cranky, the Squirrel Annihilator. So I'm going to walk through the game, talk about what I built, challenges I faced, and give credit to some of the assets and references that really helped me finish this project. So this is the main menu. From here, the player can start the game or go to the guide I made. I made a separate scene for this and used Unity's scene manager load scene system to transition between the main menu and the guy scene. So the actual game also had its own scene. And the UI was built with Unity's built-in system, and I used Text Mesh Pro for a bit more crisp text rendering. So once you start the game, you'll be met with the pug and squirrels. That is the premise of the game. You're a pug chasing squirrels that are causing problems, and it's in the dog's nature to chase squirrels. So I thought it makes sense. So once the player clicks play, the game starts immediately. The player controls the pug, which I modeled and rigged myself in ZBrush, then created the rig and animated in Blender, and used Substance Painter for the textures. And then I used Unity's animator to animate it. Now, the movement system is a very big challenge, which I had to reinvent. Originally, I went over this game called Raving Rabbits minigame, where you had to press the buttons up and down like this to cause the dog to move. But this is very, very exhausting. It was very fatiguing, so it was not enjoyable. And I want to make this more accessible for people. So I revamped it to be tap-based, alternating with L and R to jog and L2 and R2 to sprint faster. And people use different type of methods to use the controller. Some use the claws. I haven't really used the claw, but people hold controllers differently. So for some, it will be less fatiguing to play with the L1 and R1 than L2 and R2, but you use different finger muscles switching between those two. So while you use L1 and R1 and R, you can then take a break and do L2 and R2, although they do have different functionality. So L2 and R2 is a lot faster, but this comes with a trade-off, which means more acceleration, you bump into things more, you miss squirrels more often, but you're faster, so you can catch them. So the reason of this controller movement is that it's mimicking rhythm. You're mimicking the motion that adds some sort of physicality to the controls. And the same is with the keyboard. You can use AD and Q and E for the faster movement. So this is really supposed to emulate the pug's little feet. It's like tap 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 tap. So the right stick of the right stick or mouse is used to steer left and right. For controller, it's the right stick. And they have separate scripts. So the pug movement controller, and then the turning pug right stick turn for a bit more modular approach. Now the environment, the house, the assets, grass, farm assets, everything is taken from Unity. They're free assets, and I will leave information how to access them as well. And I went for low poly to unify the look, and kind of keep it minimalistic and easy to run, because the game is made to run on itch.io with HTML5, and I'm using lower textures that are baked in so that you can play on the browser without any problems. Now let's get to the movement. So I'm gonna start clicking. Now you can see if I keep pressing this, nothing's gonna happen, or this, nothing is gonna happen. That's because I need to alternate them, right? So left, right, left, right, left, right. And the faster I do it, the faster the doggy becomes. It gets faster. right? And then when I do L2 and R2, it's a lot faster. So now let's catch some squirrels. Now, there's a timer as well in milliseconds to keep it more competitive. I'm gonna catch a squirrel now. So the squirrel is kind of, the AI is a bit semi-random. So they patrol a defined area in their spawn dist area, or their little spawn location zone. So if the pug gets close, they panic and they start fleeing. And if you get close enough, you shoot them in the air. Let me find a squirrel. So when caught, they bounce with sound effects and then they disappear. And okay, let me catch this one. There you go. We just caught one. So when caught, they bounce, and I made a simple bounce effect using a coroutine, so I can just shoot them in the air. And the counter updates on the top how many squares I've gotten. So I need to get a total of 10 in order for me to win the game. Now you see there is a rooster here. So this adds a bit of pressure, because when the player gets on, it chases, and I played so it triggers an attack animation, and it spams audio to be a little bit more annoying. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to implement a lot more behavior for the rooster to make it bounce, because the pug already has acceleration involved, and it was getting a bit more tricky with making the rooster kind of cancel that acceleration and make the pug bounce away to knock the player back. But yeah, I also added the cooldown logic for the rooster so that it doesn't spam the audio all the time. Okay, so the camera locking was a huge pain in the butt to develop, because sometimes I would rotate the camera and it would stay behind. And it initially I had tilt controls, and they were not working well at all. So I just ended up implementing the left and right. I can also start using the keyboard, and it works again in a similar motion. For some, it may be easier. I just want to give more accessibility option for different type of playstyles. But yeah, the camera and locking was very tricky to pull off. I had to experiment with Unity's timeline playable director and manually restoring the camera behind the pug when the animation sequence ends, once you get 10 squirrels. It's still something that I have to polish. Now for this I had to use a custom camera lock, so that the dog doesn't continue moving and the camera doesn't get too far away from it. You're gonna see right now what's gonna happen. Right here. I saw the animation and it didn't go too far away because the dog had to stop. And for the audio, I used a royalty-free track from Pixabay. Also the rooster and the squirrel sounds are from there. And then I used a lot of optimizations for WebGL, because this has to be submitted on each IO. Now the timer ends, and that is how I did. The win conditions were met. The gate opened, there are invisible walls, and I interacted with the object. Also the music persistence, in order for it to work from the main menu all the way back to the game, I had to use the don't destroy on load setups. so that it's smooth experience across the scenes. And this project was a huge learning experience for me. While I couldn't implement every feature from my original design, I'm happy with how Cranky came to be. The controller integration, movement system, and animations. They gave me better understanding of Unity system. So if I had more time, I would have added more levels, send tracking, checkpoints, and multiplayer support for co-op, make players bounce into each other. But yeah, I hope you like this project.